What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy P. Skip. Welcome to the best half hour of your entire Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time to get into his court. My squad with me, T-Mac.
Hola.
Chili Will.
Gracias, amigo.
Let's do this. Matthew, which is one of Tim's favorite chapters in the Bible. And Tim Willie's favorite chapter in the Bible.
Mine too. I named my son Matthew.
Right. Matthew 6:33 in the New Living Translation says this: seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. Now, I brought up that scripture because now I'm not saying that the NBA is the kingdom of God, by no means. But if you want to win a championship, you got to seek certain things. And the Bucks saw that, hey, we got some major deficiencies on our team. We're good, but we'll never be great because of the deficiencies we have. And one of the things that they thought Wes Matthews could fill it. They thought that a few other shooters they went and got could fill it.
George Hill.
They thought knockdown three-point shooters, they could fill in that when Giannis is getting full double teamed and they could kick it out to these guys. Matthew was iffy at best. And then, George Hill was okay. He was serviceable, but he wasn't a knockdown. So what the Bucks went and did is they made a trade with Houston Rockets for PJ Tucker, which is a perennial knockdown corner three-point shooter. And not to mention, I believe it was a major upgrade on our defense. Because there's two things the Bucks didn't have for me. One is, again, a steady shooter that if you leave him open, he's going to knock it down. The other one was a lockdown defender and somebody who could also bring some toughness to the Bucks team. The Bucks needed, to me, at least a couple of goons. That's what I thought Robin was going to be, because Robin was quick to fight everybody, but he got to the Bucks, he got soft, and I don't know what. I mean, this cat is like some soft serve up in this piece. I mean, just soft. But so he it wasn't that he was defending or anything, but I look at the Bucks, and there's a couple reasons why I believe this trade was made. That looks good for the Bucks, and of course I'm gonna let you guys in on this. One is after Giannis beat Philly, Giannis and the Bucks beat Philly in overtime, a win which was a great win, and Giannis stepped up completely in that overtime win. After he hit a big shot, he went and sat down on Philly's court. The comment from, of course, Philly didn't like it. If you know anything about Giannis, he don't mean nothing about what he does. He's just in the moment he does stuff. But Dwight Howard said, hey, I want to stone cold stunner him for doing that. You don't do that to people. Wait, Dwight. First of all, who you gonna stone cold stunner? You got punked by Kevin Garnett, Kobe, and a few other players, and you didn't do nothing. So shut up, bro. You're not going to stone cold stun nothing. And let you get kicked out of a game for that. Your contract is very expendable, bro. Philly will let you go so quick for doing something like that because Philly don't want that smoke with the NBA if you do that kind of foolishness. So, one, I think you got somebody who will, I believe, get in Dwight's face and say, you ain't going to injure my boy. This is the franchise. I'm looking to win a championship with it. Two is, they have been looking to get rid of Tucker ever since Harden was out of there. Because the reality of it is they're looking to rebuild. Harden made them rebuild. And Tucker isn't part of their rebuilding process, I don't believe. So what the Bucks got in trading for the trade for Tucker was they got rid of DJ Augustine and DJ Wilson, and they picked up Tucker and Rodonius Caracas, if I said his name right. And so they lost in the two of them between Augustine and Wilson. I think they got rid of like 10 million, and they picked up 7 in Tucker, because Tucker's on a 4-year, on the last of a 4-year, 32 million. So he's only getting 7+ million this year. So they gained 3.3 million off the hard salary cap that they can go make some other moves with. And so I think what they got in turn was they got a good solid defender that's a versatile defender. Because our biggest flaw for the Bucks, especially come playoffs, was that pick and roll defense that you always find Brook Lopez fading back and not, stepping up in that pick and roll defense, which would leave that guy for a mid-range jumper all day. With Tucker, you got somebody who can fill in that on that pick and roll, get around those picks and get up on, the defender that could eliminate some of those, mid-range jumpers that was just killers for the Bucks. That's where Kawhi killed us in the playoffs against Toronto. And that's where and that's also where, I can't think of it for the Heat. Butler killed us last year, just destroyed us in that mid-range on that pick and roll. So how do you see this trade going and the benefits as well as the pluses and the minuses? Pete.
Oh, you're talking to me? Excellent. I think it's kind of a zero sum. I wasn't really thrilled with it. I like PJ Tucker. He's a good hard-nosed guy. But I think what the Bucks needed, if they were going to go out and get somebody that was a shooter, I still have been wanting them to get somebody like a JJ Redick. A designated gunner. PJ Tucker in his career has hit key shots in the playoffs. He's not afraid of the moment, and he can still score. I just think that the Bucks have two levers. One is regular season Bucks. Then you have playoff Bucks. What we've seen in the last 2 years, that the Bucks have been shut down by defenses because they put the wall up around Giannis, and then the supporting cast hasn't been able to deliver. And so for me, the Bucks are still kind of mercurial, still kind of a mystery in that when the playoffs start, will Coach Bud be able to make adjustments? And I mean some serious adjustments, such as taking the ball out of Giannis's hands. One of the things that we noticed in the All-Star game when he got the MVP, per your prediction, Pastor Skip, you had, or your prophecy, I should say, said he was probably going to win it, and he did, was the fact that he wasn't necessarily the primary ball handler. He was getting the ball in positions to be dominant. Most of his points came off dunks. I think he didn't miss a field goal. That's because all of them were 10 feet and in. So when you have other folks who are capable of bringing the ball up, he can roam around and get position as opposed to having to get the rebound or get the ball right away, bring the ball up, try and get into the paint with the Euro step. Kill all that noise. Utilize your other pieces. Let Drew Holiday run the show, be as the point guard. Let Chris Middleton find his spots. Let folks distribute so we'll be able to use Giannis more as a Swiss Army knife so we can take advantage more fully of his athletic advantages. PJ Tucker is still going to be, a guy that we're going to have to rely upon to hit key shots when, Giannis is dribble, draw, dishes. And I don't know that he's going to give us the consistency that we need to carry us all the way to the finals. Is he a solid player? Yes. Is he what the Bucks needed the most? I don't know. I also think that they kind of gave up a little bit too early on DJ Augustine. Started out kind of slow coming off the bench. When Drew Holiday went out with the COVID stuff, DJ Augustine got a chance to start a bit more, was a lot more effective, efficient, kind of finding, his way a little bit more. I just think he's a solid pro who, by the time we got to the playoffs, will be able to give us 8 to 12 points on a consistent basis and spell some of our starters coming off the bench, giving us production. So with PJ Tucker being there, I think he's solid. It's going to be a solid guy because he's a pro. He's been playoff tested and he's hit shots before, so he's going to be solid. I just think we need a little bit more than just solid. We need pieces that will fit into the team with pinpoint precision. And I don't know that he delivers that for us.
Yeah, I think the PJ Tucker trade is a good trade under the circumstances. If you say we're going to have Jrue Holiday and PJ Tucker starting at the guard position instead of DiVincenzo, I think that's a big upgrade. Defensively, I think he's a big upgrade. PJ Tucker is 6'5", and he ain't no skinny dude.
6'6".
So huh?
You got him listed at 6'6".
Oh, they got him at 6'6". Okay. Yeah, he's a big dude. I mean, he ain't no little dude. He, like you said, he got some stripes. He's been to a war or two, so he got some metal, and all that's good. But what the Bucks need more than anything is a closer. PJ Tucker is not a closer. He's a I won't say a relief guy. He's a safety valve guy. He's a guy you can throw the ball to.
He's like what Steve Kerr was for Chicago.
Exactly. Somebody who you can give the
and
ball
light him up.
and he can make a bucket, you know.
Right.
But it's an upgrade from where we were. I know we didn't want to give up DJ Augustine, but you got to give up something, you know what I'm saying, to make the books work. So they had to give it up. DJ Wilson was coming to his rookie contract,
Right.
you know, so they was going to either have to pay him or he was going to walk if he has any amount of value anyway. So that to me, that's a zero sum. But I like it, but I still think they need a guy that they can throw the ball to who can get a bucket, go one-on-one and get a bucket. That's what the Bucks are missing. If they get that, then I think we can compete with anybody, including Brooklyn. But if we don't get that, we almost have to play perfect basketball in order to beat a team like Brooklyn.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think that but he does bring some toughness on the defensive end that I think him and Giannis could feed off of each other and cause maybe the other team to come up, the rest of the team to come up, because a lot of times you look at these guys and they're playing matador defense 98% of the time. I'm like, okay, you stay in front of me for the first 30 seconds, but if he makes a fake crossover move, you're gone. You're falling for it. And we don't have the second tier rim protectors. We just don't have that. You know, Lopez is not blocking nothing. Nathan, I mean, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, somebody's got to do something with our defense. And somebody at least got to bring some toughness because they're too nice. They're just too nice. It's okay to have a few nice guys, but you got to have somebody who's going to get in somebody else's face, make the other team uncomfortable, make the other team respect you. Because I think that's another thing that when you don't have some roughnecks on your squad, some goons, the refs don't even respect you. There's certain calls that Giannis should be getting because he's Giannis. But because they're the nice team, they don't argue, you know, they don't get texts, they let everything go. And I'm not trying to be funny, but that comes from Bud. Bud ain't to get in your face. You ain't getting away with that with San Antonio's coach. He ain't having it. Popovich ain't having it. Treat our players wrong. You're gonna hear about this from me. And you're gonna hear about this from me right now on this court. You're gonna hear about me in the press conference. You're gonna hear about me from the league. You're gonna know that what you did was out of order. But Bud kind of, you know, it's a loss, we'll win the next one. But I think there needs to be somebody who just brings some toughness to this team. And I think he was a step, Tucker was a step in the right direction. But like you said, there's some more pieces that are needed. Definitely some more people who can create their own shots. Because right now, who is it other than Giannis? Middleton can, but I think he takes too many dribbles to create his own shot.
Jrue Holiday can take he can create his own shot. And I think he's been deferring a bit too much because he didn't want to come in, upset, you know, an apple cart, have people thinking that, you know, hey, he's trying to be the man. But I think if Jrue Holiday goes ahead and asserts his full array of skills, he'd be just what the doctor ordered. And that, for him to be able to do that, his teammates, particularly Giannis and Middleton, have to say, look, bruh, We see you got the skill set. You can dribble, draw, dish. You can hit from the outside. You got the mid range. You can hit from the three, and you can finish at the rim with either hand. We see that you have the skill sets to really be the man here. And because you're unselfish, we don't have to worry about you taking, 25 shots as a shoot first point guard. You still want to be able to distribute, but we need your full skill set because you are the one that can go playground if we need to go playground, and you can play the organized basketball stuff. You kind of ambidextrous, so to speak, in that you can go with any style. And because you a grown blankety blank man, when we need clutch baskets down the stretch, we can put the ball in your hands and you can deliver as we've seen throughout the regular season. We know you're new. We've been here longer than you, but you are a bona fide, full-fledged member of the family. As such, you get full family rights. This is your team too. You're not a visitor anymore. We need you to bring your full gamut of skill sets for us to be the best that we can be. Go right ahead. We ain't gonna be tripping. Do your thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think Drew Holiday is an upgrade from Bledsoe. If we talking about last year to this year, that's an upgrade to me. He just has a higher basketball IQ than Bledsoe. I think, and he finishes at the rim a lot better than Bledsoe.
Right.
I think PJ Tucker is an upgrade from having DiVincenzo as a starter. If we get somebody like PJ Tucker as a starter, DiVincenzo go to the bench. That boosts our bench up a little bit. So I think for those two moves, we have upgraded. But if it wasn't for Brooklyn, I would say we could come out of the East with this team. But Brooklyn done went and got 3 Hall of Famers. So from a defensive standpoint, I think it's good because now you got Tucker playing D, you got Giannis playing D, and you got Holiday, who's a premier defender. I think he leads the leagues in steals as we speak. So you got 3 premier defenders, the defensive player of the year. Right. Tucker is so we can get Kyrie and give him a little, we can't stop him, but we can run a little interference for him. We can do the same thing with Tucker and James Harden. We can't stop him, but we can run more interference with him than we could with DiVincenzo. And then Giannis can do some things with KD, and Giannis is much stronger than KD. So it's some things that we might be able to do with KD. The problem is when we go to our bench, are we going to be able to keep it up and keep it going? That's going to be the issue. And that's where we need that person that come off the bench that's a bucket getter. And if we had that, it ain't like they walking around downtown. It's hard to get these guys and they expensive. They really are,
right.
I mean, they specialists.
Right.
But if we could get that, I'm be honest with you, I wouldn't be worried about nobody in the league, including the Lakers.
Yeah. I think I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think our next move should be an upgrade in the center position. Because what I love about PJ Tucker, and I believe they got him because you played with Harden for the last 4 years, at least. So you know his moves, you know a lot about what he does, you know his tendencies. Y'all been boys for the last. So if you get on him, I know what he's gonna do. You are more apt to know what he's gonna do than anybody else on the Bucks team. So I believe that's a great help. And Kyrie, okay, let's say Drew keeps him down. Let's say Drew keeps him down to 15, 20.
20, yeah.
Keeps him down to 20. I believe Giannis can keep, if you keep all them 3 to just 20 a game, I believe the Bucks could win. Because they don't have Brooklyn don't have a deep bench either. Brooklyn don't have a deep bench either. And so I believe that the Bucks, and the thing about the Bucks is they play a lot more of their players. I think one of the reasons why they got rid of DJ Wilson was because there really wasn't no playing time for him. He wasn't getting much clock. And I believe it was a mercy move. Go to Houston, show out, and either you stay there because you're young and they pay you, some decent money, 13 to 15 a mil a year, or you're auditioning for another squad you can get to. But they knew that, you don't fit in what we need here. You just aren't a piece that can get on the floor as much as we need you to.
But Pastor, I don't mean to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
the good thing about DJ Wilson was he fit nice and snug under the salary cap.
Yeah, but that's only for this year.
Yeah,
That
right.
is this year. You know, so, and that's the other thing with Tucker. If it don't work, it's just this year.
Yeah.
It's just this year. So with that trade, again, the Bucks gained almost 3.3 million off the salary cap. So, you know, all of this is really a PJ Tucker, as much as we know he's at the most a 1 year. He's a one and done at the most. But he could, if he works out right, he could be a piece that could help us, you know, moving forward. But I'm just, like you said, there's a lot of efficiencies that are needed. This team has, what's crazy is you see the potential. You see the major potential in the Bucks. And I always wonder, well, how does teams like Brooklyn get these major players, and stay under that salary cap?
They don't, Pastor. They go over the salary cap because their cable contracts be so high that they can afford. It's 8 million people got cable in the Brooklyn area. So their cable contract is so high that they can absorb some of that money over the salary cap because they got other revenue streams. When you got teams like Milwaukee, I mean, you know, it ain't even 600,000. It's barely 500,000 people in Milwaukee. You know, you don't got that extra money where you can now. Granted, they do have 3 to 4 billionaires that own the team. You know, they may not. You know, at some point they might say, you know what, we're gonna push all our chips to the middle of the table. But the reason why those teams like that can get those players is because, like the Lakers and Knicks, and they got huge Chicago, they got huge cable contracts.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah, so they're able to absorb the luxury tax. I think the other thing, the asterisk I'll put, I'm still not convinced with Brooklyn. They on paper, you know, of course, 3 Hall of Famers, like you mentioned, Will, you know, KD, Harden, Kyrie, they look like they are the class of the league, and they won, you know, the last 14 out of 15, but they haven't done it with their big 3. KD's been out almost a month or more, and it's been Harden and Kyrie kind of gelling, finding a rhythm, etc. My biggest concern when they first got together or announced this addition of Harden was, can those 3 play together in a harmonious fashion? We still haven't necessarily seen that extensively. And now that they've had such levels of success without KD, when KD comes back, what does that do to the rhythm? Will there be some snickering? Will there be, you know, backbiting? Will there be some flakiness? Will guys get jealous because their shots are going, you know what I'm saying, reduced shot attempts per game? So they still have to prove, as far as I'm concerned, that they can still dwell harmoniously and win games. And come playoff time, we have to also see, can they handle it in the playoffs? If they get, let's say, an early test in the first or second round, will they fall victim to, oh my God, the major upset, or will they march on to the Eastern Conference Finals where they will meet the Bucks? And I think with the hurt and pain that the Bucks have felt the last 2 years of underachieving, having had the best record in the NBA the past 2 years, they know that nothing is guaranteed. And maybe this is their year to say, you know what? We don't care who we're facing. We're winning because the pain of defeat or the agony of defeat has been so foul to us. We ain't trying to taste that again. So what we're going to do this year is let the next team taste it. Brooklyn, y'all thought y'all was coordinated as the favorite. Guess what? We finna send y'all home like Joker sent us home the last 2 years, coming in as the number 1 seed or the favorite coming out the East.
You know, I think when we look at the favorite and the best team in the league, when the smoke clears, I think the Bucks gonna be right there. I mean, right now they're 1.5 games out of first place in the East, and they might be 2 games, maybe 2.5 out of having the best record in the league. You know, and they right there. You know, and they've had some COVID issues with Holiday. You know, they have their concerns. You know, they was trying new stuff and tinkering with stuff. So the Bucks are right there as far as being able to win games. But Tim, I think you're 100% correct. I think that what the last 2 years has showed us, that the approach that we took in those years, that we can't take those approaches anymore. So I think we can make some adjustments. We may not have the ball. I like what you suggested earlier. Let's have the ball in Holiday's hand in the clutch situations instead of Giannis. So I think if we can do that and everybody's cool with that, I think that'll be another upgrade for the Bucks, along with PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday, and what's my other guy that went to Arkansas, was on the Bulls,
Bobby Portis.
Bobby Portis. I think Bobby Portis has some upside. I think it's some things that Bobby Portis can do. I think PJ Tucker getting on the team and lighting fire under Bobby Portis and have him become a better defender. I think that's Bobby Portis is an upgrade from Ersan Ilyasova. So I think the Bucks have made little subtle changes that will make them a better team this year come playoffs.
Listen, man, fresh socks are an upgrade from Ilyasova, bro. That guy, new warm socks was an upgrade. That cat, he would just get lost in the playoffs. But hey, listen, another great show. Listen, tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel right here. Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. Until next week, have an amazing week.